welcome to Ink Spills. Today we're doing something a little different, and we are going to be talking with my friend Bethel about her poetry and artwork. Welcome.
Thank you. I am so excited to participate in the inaugural Tea with Taryn, which the alliteration of just makes me so happy. So thank you for the invite.
I'm really happy to have you here. So we'll start with getting to know you a little bit more. What is something that when you tell people about you that they seem to be surprised?
It's either gonna be that my hair color is real, or that I have as many siblings as I have, because I have a lot of siblings.
How many siblings do you have?
10.
Wow, that is, you beat me. I have 6.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that is a hair color that a lot of people strive really hard to get. So I can see why.
It's reassuring that it's in the store, because I've seen that it can kind of go an ugly yellow before it quite goes white. So I'm like, okay, I can replace you when I need to when the time comes. This is good to know.
That is good to know. You can get your natural color.
Yes. Yeah. Experiment and do something different, I guess.
Yeah, that too. It's always fun to mix it up. So why did you choose multimedia art, and what exactly, for those of us who aren't 100% sure, what exactly is multimedia art?
Sure. So mixed media art is just where you're mixing mediums like paint, for example, mixed with like stickers and fabric. Ephemera, I think, is the word they use for like all the little things. This one's got an really old photo that was from 1947, so I just thought that was super fun to incorporate. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little cat that the kid is petting. And
Is it like a family photo or just a photo?
Yeah, somebody was throwing it out because they didn't know who it was, and I was like, "Oh, can I like use it?" And I did.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this was one of the very first pieces that I did. I think I'd just been watching some YouTube videos about art, mixed media art, and so I didn't really know what I was doing. But it was shortly after I got married, so these are old like what do you call it, like placebos from birth control, and I just spelled out the words "I do," and these were like the old, like, Monday, Tuesday, like the days you're supposed to take them, and it was just kind of like, because to me it signified that like in a marriage you're saying "I do" every day, like you're recommitting. So that was kind of, so it's dusty. Like I learned now that you wouldn't like do it the way that I did, because it's dusty and it's got like, so I've learned a lot basically, but this piece is very special to me anyway, so I wouldn't sell it. But yeah, so this is kind of the direction I'm going in, and I love the size. I love that you can stitch on it. Like the watch, the little watch element didn't need to be stitched in, but I did it just because it was like fun and kind of meditative. And so I don't know, I just like all the possibilities of putting the different things together.
It comes across like a really like elegant and very like creative style.
Thank you. I think it's fun. I'm kind of finding my style. I was going for kind of bolder colors for a while in between. I think one of your pieces, I'll show that that you like, was this one, Confidence. And I like it. I don't know if I repeat it. Sometimes I have like a little too much throwing of things. And I think I'm starting to steer away from having like words in my pieces, because I feel like I kind of want it to just be a little more open to the interpreter kind of thing. But this one's fun. It's like super heavy because of all the little glass gems on it. But I just find it really fun. So like art journaling is the most fun part for me. And I'll just show you like the most recent spread I did was this one, and it's just super fun to put all this stuff together. And there's a lot less pressure. I haven't sold much art, but when I make like those pieces, I do feel a little pressure, like, oh, would this be an end result that somebody would want to buy? It's a little hard for me to turn that piece off, but with these, I know nobody's buying it, so it's just fun, and just this is where I learn about balance and how to put things kind of together. And I do use a lot of text in these. This one in particular, I thought of you with. I was like, she'll know what this book is from. So like you can use old book pages and stuff, and it's On fairy
On
stories.
fairy stories. That's Tolkien.
Yeah. So I just have, and then I have a little piece of my poem in there as well. So yeah, art journaling I find very relaxing and calming. I feel like with writing, it's almost more of a struggle for me to write. I like having written and I like having completed things that I've written, but the actual process I think is more of a struggle. Whereas I tend to enjoy art making process as well as the results kind of a little more. I find it more relaxing somehow, I guess.
Tell me about the process you use for art. Do you like choose a color palette? Do you have an idea of what you want to say, or you just kind of like how does that work for you?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was really just trying whatever. I can even show you kind of how that developed a little. Like this one, it was just from like um, a trip we took to Ireland. I had like a postcard, so I did kind of like I'd be like, okay, that has red in it. I'm gonna go all in with the red, and kind of yeah, similar like okay, lottery ticket. I'm going with orange with this one, things like that. But as I've developed, it's more sometimes it's just trying a specific style. Like I want to try to use my stamps. I don't really know, how is the way to use a stamp. So I'm going to try this. Um, Other times it's more like something particular weighing on my heart that I want to express, and I kind of know that idea, and then I just start playing. But there's a very nice YouTuber. I want to say her first name is Karen. I can't think of the last name, but she has it. They're super easy to find. It's like the hamburger method and the hot dog method and
Okay.
stuff like that. And she talks about like the ways of layering, and it's not so much about doing it the right way as it is just knowing what will stick on top of what and like not bubble or go wrong or whatever, like so she breaks it down really easily, and I don't do all of her steps all the time, but I do usually start with like a layer of collage and then kind of go over it with other stuff. So she's great for anybody that's wanting to get started.
And how does that process differ from, you said you struggle a little more with the poetry
Yeah,
process?
with the poetry, so yeah, sometimes I'll be inspired,
Mm-hmm.
or it'll just like some lines will just come to me, usually in an inconvenient time, like if I'm in the shower or driving or something. Um, but like, so, and then I'll write those parts, but then I'm trying to like make it have all the elements of poetry and then not be too on the nose and not too for poetry in particular, and then just for saying things straight like prose and things, it's still kind of a struggle because you're trying to find like, well, how much do I really want to share. The next book is going to be memoir, so it's kind of like how much.
That is scary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
that is scary.
and not wanting to step on other people's toes because I do have the 10 siblings and I don't want to be telling their story. I want to be telling my story, and yeah, and then just unfortunately, the things that make the best poems are the things that probably hurt you the most, and so that's kind of I guess I feel like I can express more joy with art, whereas with my writing, um, I don't have a ton of like it's almost like joyful, happy life experiences don't make for like really amazing poetry. I have a few that are, happy, but in general, yeah, I think it's more like about the hard stuff. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
No, it totally does. I know. Yeah, like a lot of times we use poetry specifically to process things.
Yes.
And that's not always as much fun as just being like, oh, this is nice and pretty.
Yeah, and I think sometimes with the art, it's just like whatever's happening in the world, I'm gonna make something pretty right now, and I can keep overworking it until it is pretty. Like if I'm not happy to it, I just happy with it. I put more on until I am happy with it.
Well, I will say, having read your poems, that struggle doesn't come across in the writing. They seem very effortless and very like, I don't know, you have like a really soft, subtle style. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but like, yeah, it just seems very like, yeah, I would say like effortless.
Oh wow, well that's good to hear.
So tell me about both your books. You wrote this one first, Conversations with Good Men. What is that one primarily about?
So that one is primarily about my dating experiences. It's kind of a look at an exploration of what is good, what makes a person good, what makes a man good in particular good. And so it's kind of these imagined and real conversations that I had throughout my dating experiences. I structured it like a play, so it's in 3 acts with 2 intermissions, one intermission of father daughter poems and one of spiritual poems, because I used to be an evangelical Christian and I am no longer that. So it's kind of that journey of like what originally I grew up believing about dating and what was told to me, and like how I just thought God was supposed to drop a man into my lap and I didn't have to do anything to, um, to make that happen. And then the hard realization that, yeah, you actually have to go out and converse with men and, and go to,
That's hard.
get lots of coffee and tea. And like that was kind of, I was primarily an online dater. So it was a lot of meeting at coffee shops and, yeah. And then it does touch on, sexual assault, date rape in particular, and some pretty hard stuff. But I think that I hope the message of it is still like hopeful and about ultimately like being true to yourself and who you are, and for me that is a I guess intersectional feminist, like I am that, and yeah, the capacity to love, all those kinds of things, are kind of tied into that. But it's not instructional. I always have to say that because people show up
It's
and
not
they
a how-to.
they really think it's a manual, and I'm like, no, it's not. So yeah.
No, when I read it, I did find it very relatable because I think the modern dating scene is a struggle, and people a lot of times don't, like, people who aren't in it don't see what a struggle it is.
No, they don't. They can't relate. Like even I have a lot of senior clients in my like job that I do, and they're always like, yeah, we met at a show, or we met at a bar, I don't know, and I was like, yeah, we met online, it's kind of like need a better story.
I met my partner online too. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. I feel better. Yeah, so that's that one, and then A Woman's Work is the newer one. Was a response. It was kind of an unexpected response because I really thought the memoir was book number 2, and then things just started happening here in the U.S. and abroad.
They have.
And they haven't stopped happening, and it was just kind of like this thing like bubbling up, like I have to say something, and I have to I've had very, very difficult conversations with close family members and people who I thought were friends and extended family and all of that, but it was just like I just wanted it out of that kind of context and in a context where I could share it with the world and just bear kind of my heart, and express the anger and the um, just all of those emotions, but also like the hope and the like sort of a redemptive thread, like kind of throw it out there that like there's still something we can do, and I hope it's empowering, somewhat empowering. Hi, baby. Give me a cupcake though.
No cupcakes. No cupcakes, baby. Too much sugar for
better luck next time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard you call A Woman's Works at some point like an empath's battle cry.
Oh yeah, I said something along those lines. Yeah, yes, because I think so I don't know, like I said, I'm former evangelical Christian, and that community, not the entire community, I don't want to paint with broad stroke, but like a huge swath of that community has really been on this path of like there's this popular book called Toxic Empathy, unfortunately,
I heard about that.
By this big Christian lady, and so I've kind of felt like there's a lot of imagined attacks against the Christian community. Like I even when I went to my doctor's appointment the other day and the guy was talking about my name, the question of my name came up, and I was explaining where it was from. I asked him if he had any, because he was interested in it. So I was like, okay, you know, do you know this story from the Bible? Which incidentally he didn't, but he's pulling out his cross and he's like, yeah, and I'm not afraid to say it, you know, and I'm thinking, yeah, and it's like 6:30 a.m. and
Yeah.
I'm not armed or coming at you in any way. I'm just
Yeah.
asking if you know so that I can tell you the Bible story so that you can have the answer to your question and like you're literally not in any danger and you need to calm down. But that's the mentality of like, oh, we've got to be under attack. And I kind of know what that comes from with my background
Mhm.
is I had a pastor who would just kind of preach basically that if you weren't being persecuted, you were doing it wrong.
Mm.
And I think that's gotten under people's skin. So then now they're like perceiving persecution because they need to be doing it right. And it's like, you're actually fine. Anyways, bit of a tangent there. But the point is that I feel like what's actually under attack is not the family and Christianity
Mhm.
and values. It's empathy and compassion
Mhm.
and understanding people that are not like you and
Mhm.
being willing to see other people's point of views and realizing that children being ripped from their parents, you know, is wrong and it doesn't matter if someone crossed a border in a
Yeah.
way that's offensive to you or like there's no, you know, or that person's color or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. Like,
Yeah.
you know, um,
These things that seem like to us, they seem like basic
yes,
logic, basic
basic
human
human rights,
empathy.
basic, yeah, basic like sense of justice, right and wrong, if you want to go there, you know. And so I just had all of that on my heart, and I thought, like, no, we need to like just because we're empaths and bleeding hearts, which like what else is a heart gonna do? But
I like that.
but you know,
Yeah.
um, doesn't mean that we don't like express our anger or that we can't. I think I spent, especially the first presidency, I spent not wanting to hurt feelings and
Mhm.
trying to like express my point of view, but without, you know, making somebody feel ignorant or making them.
Mhm.
And now I'm kind of like, you don't care, so I don't care. Like, you know, kind of Cardi B style. Like, let's match energy. If I have to handle what you're doing, then you're gonna have to handle what I'm doing here.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of what I meant is like just like for us to stand strong in it, not just to be like sad about what's happening, but to be like outspoken and set real boundaries and real consequences and, you know, let people know like there's a poem in there that says you are not sorry and I do not forgive you. And
Mhm.
that's like, yeah, so unless
Yeah.
something changes here, like this is
Yeah.
where we're at, you know.
That's a boundary setting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's a lot of politics, in particular the things that were weighing on my heart. I say politics, but it's really policies that impact
Mhm.
people. That's the
Mhm.
thing. And so I have a poem honoring Elijah McClain. I have poems regarding all the situations that's going on with immigration and the situation in Gaza and all that. So
Yeah, when I read it, what I mainly came away feeling was a sense of healing
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
love.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an acknowledgement of all of the dark things for sure. But it felt very much in a way that was like looking for healing and empathy and just love, self-love, but love for others as well.
Yeah.
And um I think that's important because it's hard to still feel hope with everything that's going on, especially like when you know people that are in your life all the time who are just like so they appear so ignorant
Yeah.
and like they just don't get it and you're like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to like have a conversation with you about this.
Yeah.
So it I mean I cried several times, but in a good way.
Well, yeah, yeah. I did that one in sections, and the sections I think if I remember correctly are nature, nurture, humanity, and healing. And that was kind of a late in the publishing. I kind of really flash published this one super fast, but that was a decision I made kind of late in the game, just because I was like, okay, how can I group these together? I sometimes when I'm reading poetry, if they're just all thrown in there, they don't have any kind of
Mhm.
sections, I feel a little overwhelmed or whatever. So I like to make sections in my books. And that to me, I thought, well, this will show some kind of progression and it'll bring like, and I think that nature is a large part of our healing as well. So I thought it was important to have the nature section in there. And some of the poems were written years ago, and some, considerable number of them were written more recently. But I thought this way it gives it kind of an arc, and it reminds people. I was very careful with the words that I chose for that. Like, I didn't want to say politics. I wanted it to say like, nurture and humanity, because those are words that are like, yeah, these are core to the human experience. Like, everybody needs to be nurtured. Everybody needs to, everyone is human, and we all need healing and nature.
Because it's ultimately, it's not about politics, it's about people.
Yes.
And how the policies, like you said, affect people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's so easily forgotten, and we have to just keep bringing it back.
So what drew you to poetry? When did you start writing poetry?
As a child, I was raised on a lot of the like Robert Louis Stevenson and all those little poems for kids. And I think I kind of thought it was just for children. And then I got older. Eventually, I got like one of those like Oxford Book of English Verse type of books that I read everything on the bookshelf that we had out of boredom. We were I won't go much into that because we'll save it for the memoir. But I was basically unschooled, so it's like that's supposed to mean that you are homeschooled and you're able to pursue the topics you're interested in the most, and maybe not having to hit all the marks that normal education would hit. In our case, it literally just meant neglect. Like, we were not I got to about third grade, and then kind of things stopped. My mother was pretty depressed, and so we just were not being educated for quite some time. So reading was our thing. There were books, and we read them. So for some reason, I had shame around writing poetry, though, as an adult. And I was even asked at one point in a literature class if I wrote poetry, and I said no, and I did. I don't know where the shame came from, but ultimately, several years after I graduated, I went back to Kennedy King College and took a poetry class, and then was kind of like able to come into my own acknowledgement. Even then, though, I used a pseudonym for a while. It's really interesting. I don't know why. I picked Alice Christie, and I didn't know that was the name of the Titanic survivor. So that's who I was for a while.
You are a survivor.
Yeah. And then finally, by the time I was ready to publish, and I thought I would go the traditional route, and then when I realized I don't have enough years to do that, I thought, you know what, just be yourself. And so yeah,
I think there's something really empowering about just publishing it yourself. Like, this is what I have to say, and as many people as like it will like it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a hard thing too, because it's like you have to have editors and people to make sure, because you can't just like be like, okay, yeah, I like it the way I wrote it, but at the same time, you have to make sure your voice isn't being like edited out or over edited, or sometimes you are going to say something that doesn't make sense to that person, or so that's always a hard balance for me to strike. But I do know that the poetry publishing world in general is pretty white male dominated, and so I thought, I don't want to wait for that approval. I want to just say what I want to say.
So would you read some of your poems for us?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, sorry.
Grande. You know your nails are all clicky clacky. You know they're clicky clacky.
So I picked some short ones for you. This one's called Poor Posture. I don't always walk with eyes downcast because I lack confidence or am ashamed to take up space. Some days I simply notice snails glistening as they slick paths, pulling slow in spiral shells. That one's a real tongue twister. This next one's called Anniversary Poem. When I think about home, I picture the rolling hills of your biceps and chest, the tall prairie grasses that I love to caress, sweeping across your forearms, stomach, pecs, a thicket covering your body and inviting mine to passionate play or tranquil rest. I think of your smile, laughing verde eyes and teasing tongue, waterfall neck kisses, whispered sentiments of love, and how each time you push open the door with a hearty hello, I remember I am home. This one's called Genocide Survivor Sewing Circle. Has a epigraph that for Duduk's cry haunts soul with poem. I hear my great-grandmother Sarah whisper to her daughter in a language I do not speak. Sometimes stitching saves us Hokies. Though I'm sewing a forget-me-not sampler versus a stack of old socks to darn, I know her voice still speaks the truth, protecting me from harm. Mary listened, but still grew bitter. Sharon listened, but gave in to her rage and grief. So now the generational healing is up to me. And on days when I feel absent-bodied, endangered, or weak, I pick up my hoop and let the cross-stitch become everything. My protest when it is too dangerous to speak. My permission to still be alive and to breathe deep. My Tetris, a legacy of survival over any defeat. And the last one from this book is Snowflake Toxic Empath Libtard. Snowflake Toxic Empath Libtard. How freely you throw barbs at your sister's bleeding hearts. How openly you mock any reality that isn't yours. I can't understand, believer, though I've tried for many years. Why are you so tickled by other human beings' fears? Did you forget that even Jesus wept literal tears? And I picked one from Conversations with Good Men because I thought it kind of went with the other one. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned, becoming fat, feminist, forthright, and free. Yet I still dance, live and learn, laugh and love, asking permission only of me.
Do you have any favorite poets or artists who inspire you?
Yes, I do. Too many poets to list. I want to say Jacqueline Woodson, Brown Girl Dreaming is her book. That's kind of what I want to do, basically, like that style for my memoir. Cecilia Wollick is a big one. And then I just have a bunch of mentors and people that have influenced. And then as far as art, I love Laura Horn. She has a podcast. She has the most calming voice, I find. And she has a podcast and YouTube channel, and she teaches classes. It's not like what I'm doing, but I just love her work. There's another one, YouTube channel. I want to say it's like, she has a very uniquely spelled name. It's like QUEM something, Mosaics. I can always send you the link if you want to. And who else? I ended up buying an Anna Falchetta, maybe? I'm not sure about how you pronounce her name. It's like the only piece of original art I have. But I just love how she mixes. Hers are totally abstract, but she has like sewing mixed with paint, with everything. It's like really beautiful. I could never, my hands too sweat too much. Mine would be like, because it's all on paper, but it's beautiful. So yeah, there's a lot of people that I like to watch and just like learn their techniques, and just, I don't know, sometimes it's just super calming to watch other people create. So that's kind of what I want to do with my own YouTube, as well as like just make calming things for people to watch when they need to just.
Why don't you tell us more about your channel? What are you doing over there? Where is it called? What's it called?
So pretty much on all the social medias. I'm debating whether I'm going to get rid of TikTok because being purchased and everything, but I pretty much everywhere my handle is at made by Bethel Swift. And what I'm doing at the YouTube. This year was kind of an experiment to see like if I could be kind of a YouTuber. And obviously everything's a spectrum, but I just realized it was pretty taxing on my life to do regular like weekly videos. So I'm really still playing with like the frequency and everything. I don't like over promising and under delivering. So but topically speaking, what you can find there is my art videos, like art I guess, what do you call those? Just out like how-tos or process videos.
Mhm.
Some with voiceovers, some with just music. And then I have a little bit of poetry on there. That doesn't seem to be as big of a draw for people. And I'm hoping to do some interviews next year when I have you come
I'm
and
looking forward to that.
and a few other people because I think it's a nice way to like take the pressure off and just chat to somebody else and learn more about their creative process and what's working for them. So yeah. Oh, and I have a little bit of vloggy type stuff when I go on artist dates. I try to do a vlog for that. And we both went to Julian this year.
Yes, that was weird. Like you told me you were gonna go, and I was like, we're gonna go next week. I enjoyed your Julian video. You guys did a lot of fun stuff. So you're working on a memoir.
Yes, I am. So it is called Monday's Child: Growing Up Good in the House of God, which is a little bit of play on words because my name means House of God. And it's basically about growing up in a single family cult, which is a term I learned from Danielle. I'm going to butcher her last name, Mustinovich, I think, something like that. She was in she grew up in the Children of God cult, and she wrote a book called Uncultured, which I highly recommend. But that term basically means what it sounds like you got cult rules, you got cult leaders, all of that. It's just all happening in one family instead of like multiple families. And so that
Ronde.
yeah.
So it's what it sounds
So
like.
yeah, it's what it sounds like. And so that term really clicked in my head, and so that's what I'll be talking about basically is like how that, what some of the things that happen, what if I don't know really if it's going to be like what can be learned. You always have to have a point when you're writing these things that is beyond just like these things happen to me. But I think I'm going to kind of similarly to what happened with the women's work, I'm going to kind of find the point as I'm writing it and as it's coming together. So yeah,
sometimes writing is discovery.
Yes, and I think it's kind of like a challenging of the assumptions too, because so many people will see family like pictures of my family and automatically they're like, oh, your parents are amazing and they this and that, and my parents are complex people just like they're complex human beings, like they're not saints by any means rather, and a picture can't tell you if someone was a good parent or a bad parent or so just kind of exploring what it was like, and
I look forward to reading it.
thank you.
Well, thank you for coming and having tea with me.
Of
And
course.
telling all of our lovely viewers about your work.
Of course. I hope this becomes a regular segment because I think I would want to tune in often to see tea with Taryn. I'm sorry. I just have to keep saying it. I love it. And I look forward to you joining me for tea.
Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to Ink Spills if you enjoy fairy tales, gothic literature, poetry, book recommendations, or writing.